Well, I've come back, given the glue a chance to set. I've had lunch. Now I'll put this. I'm going to use a jig. I've done this many times before. Well, first problem. I'll take the string off. One advantage of the jig, I've got marked approximately where the screws need to go, so I can do the pre-drilling and the countersinking with this smart bit. Yep. You need to make sure that you keep the drill level this way as you do this, and basically the drill is lined up on this edge of the rebate here. This has a square drive screw. I've got the matching bit. The advantage of the jig is it gives you something to hold on to rather than just the box. The evolution of the jig came from the first design of the box, which used a different joint, a lock mitre joint, and it was assembled in the jig. It slid into place, wasn't glued. Just slid into place, but again it is assembled with the rebates up, the top side down. That's important to get the screws on the correct side. Perhaps I should explain that. That one is the cover, not ideal for explanation. Now the objective is to get the screws on the left side of the face. So the entrance is on the right. The entrance matches up with the internal part of the entrance passageway, which opens into the rebates internally. So you can see the entrance. The screws, the entrance was in there, the screws actually go above and below. The advantage of the jig, you just can't mix that up, and that's why it was made in the first place. Very And again, the entrance, or the entrance passageway, and the entrance goes on the hidden side. Now that is 4. Now the next step is to fix the small separators. Now these use the 12mm by 4 gauge screws, and they need the a smaller Phillips head bit. Now the assembly procedure for these, they fit into the rebate in the level. I only do this once I've screwed. Reason for that, because typically they line up on the joint, and when this screw goes in, it can put a bit of force on the joint, and it just makes a bit of having the screw there, the large screw, to just ensure that nothing is going to disturb the main joint. Of course, if you're more patient, you could do your gluing and leave it till the next day, then you've got no problems. One. Well, there's one more step. There's one pack of very small screws, 2 gauge, 6mm by 2 gauge screws. For that, I need a number 1 Phillips head driver, an electric driver is a little bit of overkill, but we seem to be getting a bit lazy these days. They are very small screws. Now their purpose is to make the large separator, make its placement semi-permanent, so that and that you place 2 just diagonally opposite, and they're not screwed right home. The head actually goes through the hole, so to hold the separator in place, the whole thing has to be twisted. But I'll put two in place. Oops. Just to show you how it works. Sometimes I think that plain steel screws would be very handy. They move on the screws, and they just lift off like so. But so when you're working with a box, assuming the fixed separators in the base, that provides a base of the box, but it means large separator, you just simply twist it and it can be lifted